This month on the long-term tackle review, we're going to be taking an in-depth look at the latest spod to hit the market. That is the Performance X-Spod from Wolf. It's a great bit of kit, and we're going to be taking a deep dive into some of the features that this has over some of the other ones that are available on the market already. Alright, so some of you may not have heard of Wolf or even seen one of these, but this is the X-Spod. This is the performance model, and it's a great bit of kit for helping you get bait out there. It's very similar to things like the Spomb and also the Fox Impact, Dot Spod, that kind of thing. But in my opinion, it's a lot better than all the other ones on the market. Now, I've used Spombs for absolutely ages, and I've also had a play around with the Fox ones as well. But this one, I've had no problems with it whatsoever since I've been using it for the last few months. Some of you might have noticed it in some of my other videos, that this is what I've been baiting up with on trips to Linear and places like that. But yeah, so let's get into a bit of detail about the actual design of it. From the outside, it looks like a Spomb, but the key difference with this one is that it can open up in lots of different ways, and it's operated with magnets. So it can open up in half to start with, so you'd fill it up like a normal Spomb. And inside you've got 6 magnets on each side. You can see them, they're the little black spots, and this just snaps them together and it just breaks apart really nicely. So there's no clip that bait can get stuck between, which happens on the Spomb, so that when you cast it bursts open above your head and covers you. That never happens with these magnets. They're really solid. You can hear that clip when they close. You can get a lot of bait in this performance one. There is a smaller version, I can't remember the name of that off the top of my head, but I've only been using this performance version, which is the same as a standard Spomb or Impact Spod. You can also open this up just when you're filling it up with, say, if you're using things like maggots or particle and you want to really fill it up to the top, you can open just one section like that. That way you can get loads in there and just fill it right up and just close that last one, give it a little tap, and away you go. When it hits the water, sometimes the Impact Spods or the Spombs, they don't open every time. This one probably won't open every time, but I've not had it not open on me yet. It seems to, no matter how you hit the clip or how far you're casting, whenever it hits the water, it always pops open. It's got a spring-loaded mechanism at the top that pushes back into it and forces it open. When you retrieve it, when it opens, it quite often goes to all 4 being open like that, so it just skims across the surface really easily, and the retrieve is just really nice. It doesn't dig into the water and you have to really struggle to get it back. It just skips across the surface really nicely. Another nice feature of this, which is something I think some of the other ones are missing out on, is that a lot of waters these days where spodding is really popular, they make you attach a float on the top. Well, this already floats straight off the bat, so you don't need another float on it, which will then make it wobble in the air for casting. Being buoyant already, it doesn't have to have any of that cumbersome like Spomb floats attached to the top, or having to bodge it inside, that kind of thing. When you come to casting, it's meant to be a really aerodynamic shape, meant to be really stable in the air. I find when you first cast, just as it comes over your head, you get a tiny bit of wobble, and then after about the first little second or so, once it steadies out, it is straight like a dart. It absolutely flies out there, and I'm not the best caster by any stretch of the imagination, as many of you might have seen in my videos, but this, I can quite easily cast it at, well, I think at Linear I was casting 25, 26 wraps, something like that, and it was an absolute doddle with this. Absolutely flies out there. So yeah, it's a great bit of kit. Are there any negatives to it? The one thing that slightly worries me is at the top where these flex, you get this little twist. You are starting to get a little bit of white fatigue marks on the top, but by all accounts that isn't going to affect it. Apparently that will happen just because the way the plastic is flexing, and I've not seen many reports of these snapping, and as I say, I've been using this for quite a while now, and after a first session you got that white on there and it's never changed since, and it's not broken. It's still rock solid now, so that's not something to worry about, I don't think. But yeah, it's a great bit of kit. The The only other slight downside, comes in a bit more expensive than the other ones on the market. This is $16.99 I believe from Angling Direct at the moment. I think a spom you're looking at about $12.99, something like that, and some of the Nashville Fox ones are probably around a tenner, that kind of mark, so it's a little bit more expensive, but you are going to get what you pay for. I can't see myself going back to a spom anytime soon while I'm using this. I absolutely love it. The other nice thing with this, there's so many options for it that I keep seeing or thinking about. I did see someone using one for floater fishing, so if you've got a slight chop on the water, they would just put in a little bit of liquid, just filling it up, and it's basically watertight, so hardly anything was dripping out of there, just spodding out clear liquid and just getting that slick over the water. There's just loads of options for it. That's what I really like. You can play around with it a lot more than a normal spod or spom, so it's definitely worth giving it a try. Let me know in the comments down below if you've used one. Have you used their other size ones? Have you even heard of Wolf? Do you use a spom, impact spod, dot spod? There's so many on the market now. Let me know which is your favourite one below. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you found it informative, hit like, think about subscribing. There's lots of content coming out on the channel, and I plan to keep it going all through the winter and into the spring next year, where I've got a lot of exciting waters planned. So yeah, thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next video.